Hey everybody, and welcome to the Intentional Harmony Podcast. This podcast is for musicians looking to jumpstart their career, inspire others, and get motivated to make the life of your dream. I don't care if you've been playing music for 5 years or 20 years. If you want a career in music, then what the heck are you waiting for? And let me clarify when I say career. This podcast is not just for musicians that want to make it big. This is for the musician who wants to play part-time, the brand new artist who just needs a little push in the right direction, the artist who does want to make it their full-time gig, and even the artist who's still figuring it out, because really, aren't we all? Whatever your dream and vision may be, this podcast will be here for you. I'm your host, Katie Warren, and I am so excited that you decided to listen today. My goal with each episode is that you explore deeper thoughts, build confidence to make your dream a reality, and give you practical tools and ideas that you can apply to real-life situations. Hey guys, thanks for tuning into episode 10. I can't believe we are already this far along. It feels like I started this podcast last week. Crazy. Before I start, I just want to say thank you for your support because you guys are what keeps me going. I get so many wonderful DMs on Instagram and messages on Facebook, and it just means a lot to me. With that said, I want to announce the planning of my first course. It's going to be a little while before it's released. It's still in the making, but I want to put it on your radar. As a thank you to being a loyal listener, you guys are hearing it first. I'm not announcing it on social media yet, so stay tuned for a release date in a few episodes, and I'm going to offer all my podcast listeners an early sign up. This course is going to be designed with the brand new musician in mind. It's going to cover topics like branding basics, social media, different must-haves as far as apps go and as far as tools, networking, and so much more to really give you the tools you need to build your career from the ground up. All right, business aside, let's get started with today's episode, musician mental health. Mental health in general is so very important nowadays, but musicians are sometimes forgotten and not recognized as a high-risk community. But if you're listening and you've gone through your own fair share of struggles or know someone who has, please keep listening because there's going to be some practical tools that you can use to help maintain a state of mind. Before we get to that, I want to show you how just not alone you are in this. Musicians are one of the most at-risk groups for mental health. Independent published an article with a lot of great points, so I just wanted to touch on a few. There was a detailed survey published by Help Musicians, who is the leading independent UK music charity, in 2014. So keep in mind, this was a few years ago, and the mental health crisis is only growing since then. They found that 60% of musicians had struggled with their mental health. In that same study, 68% of musicians said they struggled with loneliness or separation from family and friends, and 75% of musicians said they had experienced performance anxiety. Musicians struggle with deep forms of depression, anxiety, panic attacks, and so much more. Think about life if you're on tour and you're not taking care of your mental health. You're away from your friends, your family, and your support system. You have to uphold an image that your fans worship. Your performance has to be spot on, equipment all working, timing as planned, all while remembering your set list, lyrics, time to sleep, eat, and do I need to say any more? Honestly, it's a lot. Just image alone is enough to drive a musician mad. Whether you have a massive fan base and you're on tour or you're just starting out, we have so much pressure to live up to with the mass media and social media portraying everyone as perfect. So how can we blame ourselves for being in crisis when everywhere we look, media is telling us how to act and how to feel? And this is such a triggering topic for me because I see so many people struggling with it. And all of this is really just me trying to say one thing. You're not alone. It isn't your fault. Your feelings are valid, and you guys were all in this together. So thankfully, musicians are in a special group, and we can all just come together and support each other. I want you to think back to when you started your instrument or singing or whatever. When you hit that first note or nailed that first rhythm, how did that excitement feel? Were you proud? Did you want to share it with everyone? Did you finally feel like a musician? You were unstoppable at that moment, right? That's how music should feel. The problem is that we have that feeling until we start to get more people to notice us, or we try to become something or someone. What you don't realize is you're already that person. The will has been inside of you since you've been mastering your craft. We all get into our heads much too easily. I truly believe what you tell yourself is what you become. So think about it. If you're filling your mind with self-doubt and negative talk and criticism, how on earth do you expect your mind to fight through that noise? Now, I'm not saying it's in your control. I have anxiety myself. I take medication for it. People close to me have battled with suicidal tendencies and depression. I've seen drug addiction. I'm not discrediting any type of mental illness. This is such a real thing, and it will not be changed overnight, but you can do things to help. And I want to give you some tangible things that you can do. And again, this doesn't mean it's going to transform your feelings on day one. You still need to consult your doctor and get help when you need it, but I do encourage you to bear with me and listen on and just try out a few things because they have changed my life. And not saying it will help your anxiety or depression, but it certainly has helped mine. And I just want to share it in case it's going to help someone else out there listening to this. The first thing I have started doing is positive affirmations and gratitude. Now, don't roll your eyes, but science has proven that we become what we tell ourselves. Okay, so over time, little by little, this is going to start to improve our mindset. There's an app called Affirmations. I want you to download it. What happens is every single day, it pops up in the morning with a little notification on your phone giving you an affirmation. So today, for example, mine was, I have an unshakable belief in myself. What a great thing to read when you first wake up, right? So I read it, I take a deep breath, and every day I look forward to a new positive affirmation, and I keep reminding myself that day in and day out. What's the harm of hearing something positive every morning when you wake up? Just try it out, download the app. It's really helped me. The next one's gratitude. All I want you to do when you wake up, write down or say to yourself 3 things you're grateful for. It will literally take all of 3 seconds. You could even do it when you're in the shower. But every day, I want you to think of 3 things that you are grateful for. Can you do that for me? Meditation is the next one. So I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I just kept hearing meditation over and over and over again. I listened to these really highly successful business owners and entrepreneurs, and they all talked about having a morning routine. And part of that morning routine was meditation to get them in the right mindset for the day. So I've been doing this for about a month now, and it's getting easier and easier. The first few times I had no idea how to focus on my breath. I could not visualize for the life of me. I was listening to recordings that were saying, walk yourself through a field and, picture yourself standing in, a forest with birds around you. I can't do that. That type of meditation doesn't work for me. On the other hand, that type of meditation works really well for other people. So you have to find your form of meditation that works best. Everyone connects with themselves a little bit differently. But the point of it is to get out of the stress and the reality and get into your head and into your mind for a little bit. It helps you focus on the present moment. And as musicians, always thinking about the next trend or the next concert or the next rehearsal, sometimes we just need a little space in the present moment to just breathe. And one thing I found really helpful when I meditate is I set a timer. I focus on my breath. So all I do is I feel my belly rise and then my belly relax when I breathe. And I just focus on that movement over and over again. I meditate for about 5 to 10 minutes because I don't have a lot of time in the morning. But I have found that humming a note also is really helpful for me to focus. So I'll just pick a pitch, and I'll just hold that pitch. And I'll hold it until I run out of air. I'll take a deep breath, and then I'll do it again. I really encourage you to try it. Try a few different forms of meditation. If you pick one, you pick a recording, and it doesn't work for you, that doesn't mean they're all not going to work for you. You just have to find your one. But it does your mind so much good to just sit in the present moment and just release some stress and just focus on where you are right now. The third one is journaling. Again, I thought to myself, how the heck am I going to have time to journal? Every single nook and cranny of my day is full, and I don't have time to do this. Well, that was an excuse because I literally journal for 2 minutes exactly every single morning. 2 minutes. If you don't have 2 minutes in your day, then you really, really need to look at your schedule. You could literally keep a journal by the toilet and journal when you're going to the bathroom. I know it's a little extreme, but I'm just saying you do have 2 minutes. You're just going to have to be intentional and picky about where you find those 2 minutes. And so I set a timer for 2 minutes on my phone, and I just write down anything that comes to my mind. If I'm worried about something, I'll write it down. If I'm excited about something, I'll write it down. And I soon realized that 2 minutes is not a lot. And sometimes I'm just in the zone and I want to journal for like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Just a little bit goes a long way. And the really fun part is that you can look back on your journals a month later and look what you wrote, because you don't feel yourself growing and developing as a musician or as a person, but I guarantee you're going to see it once you read through it in your journal, and that's motivating. The next one is personal development. There is nothing more satisfying and comforting to know that we can achieve a better self, and it's fully in our control, right? We always feel the need to be perfect, and while nobody is ever perfect, we can work little by little on ourselves, and that is in our control. So listen to podcasts, read 10 pages a night on a personal development book, listen to an audiobook if you don't like reading, read blogs, whatever form you choose to do this in, just try it. Again, it's one of those things I used to roll my eyes at and I don't have time, but guess what? Any car ride longer than 20 minutes, I get so excited because I have enough time to listen to my personal development podcast. Every night before I go to bed, I'm excited to read my 10 pages. I make myself stop at 10 pages, even if I want to continue so bad, because that makes me want to pick it up the next night. I feel unstoppable after I have a little session completed. I feel like I am in control of my own destiny and not what other people tell me to be. Before you can be successful and reach your highest potential in your career, you have to work on your personal self. Your career is only going to grow as far as your personal development grows. The next one is exercise. And I'm not saying you have to go pick out a workout right now and work out for an hour straight every single day. Of course not, right? No one has time for that. But I have found a program that works really well for me. If you're interested, shoot me a direct message. But all I do is I work out maybe 3 to 4 times a week for 20 minutes each. That's not a lot of time. It doesn't work for me to do it in the morning. I work out before bed, and it's different for everybody. Maybe morning workouts are the only option for you, or vice versa. Whatever it needs to be, it doesn't have to be an hour. But I want you to get the heart rate up, because not only is exercise good for your body and your health, and when you're doing a career and you're on the road or you're eating fast food going from gig to gig, you have to prioritize your health, because you're not going to be able to do anything if you're unhealthy. So you have to take care of that vehicle that gets you from place to place. So just get that heart rate up. If you have a dog, go walk your dog around the block a few times. It's going to love the exercise, keep the pup out of trouble, and it's going to get your heart rate up and get some fresh air in you. If you have some stairs in your house, climb up and down the stairs a few times. Again, it doesn't have to be this go to the gym, work out, go home, go to work type of ordeal if that doesn't work for you. But try to incorporate a little bit of exercise in your week. It's a little addicting as you go, and then it turns into very addicting. If I miss my workout, I am super grumpy. You just have to find out what works best for you. And the last one is sleep. I know the life of going from gig to gig and running your own music business is exhausting. I know that gigs are late at night and you have to wake up early. Maybe you take gigs late at night and then you wake up and you have to go to a full-time job, and then after that job you have to go home and take care of kids, or maybe you have to go to a recording session or whatever it is. I know as a musician our schedules are absolutely insane, and oftentimes the thing that gets pushed to the side is sleep. But I want you to remember something very critical. Your brain develops during the time that you sleep. If you are not allowing yourself enough sleep, if you're not allowing yourself to get enough sleep, you're missing the mark on a lot of developmental details that happen. If you're having trouble memorizing music, or you keep finding yourself messing up, or you're getting stressed at little tiny triggers that really shouldn't tip you over that breaking point, then I want you to look at how much sleep you're getting. Because sleep doesn't just affect our stress, it affects every single part of our day. It affects how fatigued our muscles are feeling. It affects how we heal. It affects how we interact with people, literally everything. So please make sure you are getting enough sleep. And everyone's sleep threshold is a little bit different, right? I need about 7.5 hours and I'm good. Some people are good with 6 hours. Some people need 10 hours. It just depends, but your body's going to tell you what it needs. You just have to be aware and you have to listen to it. So those are my tips. And if you incorporate even some of these into your routine, you may start to see it help your anxiety. You may start to see it help your depression. I had to give a digital seminar the other day and I was feeling really anxious because, again, I have anxiety and my presentation was changed last minute. It was not the seminar I was used to presenting. And I was just so worked up over it, literally to the point where I was throwing up. My fingers were going numb. My heart was beating out of my chest. And it was like 4 hours until I had to give the seminar. And so I walked myself through some positive affirmations, some things I was grateful for, like the opportunity to give a seminar, and for the audience that sat there and gave me their time. And I just went through these things in my head. And then I closed my eyes and I meditated. And that meditation for me was just closing my eyes and feeling myself breathe in and out. I would hum a note until I ran out of air. I would take a deep breath in, and then I would hum that note again until I was out of air. And I repeated this for 10 minutes. And I kid you not, half of my anxiety was gone after I was done. And like I said, this method isn't going to work for everybody. You have to find your thing. No one taught me this method. No one taught me this routine that I do every day. I listened to a lot of different things that could help, and I put it together in a system that worked for me. And I'm not going to tell you that this system's going to work for you, but try to incorporate some of these or all of these throughout your week. And please let me know if it helps, because honestly, that's the reason I'm sharing it today. I got some relief, and I just hope it at least helps one person. So thank you guys so much for listening. Just to wrap it up, I hope you understand that you're not alone. If you're feeling bad, that you get really anxious and you get horrible performance anxiety, or you're depressed and you feel like no one understands you and all you want to do is play music, but you can't even afford to buy dinner or whatever your situation is, know that you are not alone. And if you are severely clinically depressed, please get help. There is nothing wrong with calling the helpline and having someone talk through. It can be really helpful to talk to someone. There's resources out there for you, and you are not alone. But I do hope you have gotten some ideas from this episode that can help you through it, because no one should feel stuck within their mind. I believe in you, and you can do this. Thanks so much for listening to this episode, you guys. I hope you got something influential out of it. I hope you got something positive and actionable out of it. And I really encourage you to try to reform your morning or night or both routine. If you like this episode, please subscribe if you haven't already. Comment below, leave a rating on wherever you listen to podcasts. I really appreciate your feedback. Send me a direct message on Facebook or Instagram at Intent Artist Management. And if you want to win a chance to be featured on the podcast, screenshot this episode, tag Intent Artist Management, and hashtag Intentional Harmony. I hope you have a great week. We'll see you next time.